Alright folks, pardon me. What is up? This is One Big Bugger and I am coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. And of course we are continuing our career today, but before I do, and before I forget, because if I don't say this now I will forget. Somebody asked for this, and it's the first time I've ever gotten a request like this, so I want to make good on it. Tim Lawson, yes, asked for a shout out on my next video. So here it is, brother. Tim Lawson, here's your shout out. I did see your comment, and I told you if I remember I'd do it. There you go, brother. Okay? So, today, I remember that the load choices we have are still very limited. And despite this being the top, it's an incredibly short run that I just don't feel comfortable about. And then there's this one, which is, again, $10.73, about 13 cents less per kilometer, versus this one. And it's fragile, so we get a little bit of bonus out of it. However, only 4,568, where this is 6,474. Drawback, it goes through the United Kingdom, which means driving on the opposite side of the road. Oh boy. Now, as you may know, as I've said in the last video and I've said previously, I don't like driving in the United Kingdom because I always get confused. But I really can't turn down nearly $2,000 more at only 3 cents less per kilometer versus the one above it. You know, so we're going to England. Now, like I said, I've got nothing against England. I love Great Britain. I love England. I think it's a... let's see if my frame rate can fix here. And the answer is no. So we'll get outside the truck for a slightly better frame rate, and we'll just go from here. Okay, parking brake is off. And as I was saying before, I love England, I love Great Britain. The history, the buildings. I mean, a lot of people like here on Maui talk about Hana, and of course I'd pull out in the wrong direction. You know what, there's nothing behind me. Let's make this right, shall we? There's a little sleepy town. A little bit more difficult driving outside the truck. It's alright. Easy there, Geronimo. Let me get out here. But you know, a lot of people talk about the sleepy little town here on Maui. And it really is. Being on the backside of the island, it's like way off. There hasn't been a lot of change. It's mostly country rural, but there are still villages in England. You know, places you can't even call towns. They're villages. And they really haven't changed in centuries. I mean, they're a little more modernized, of course, but like the streets are really just paved over horse and carriage paths, you know, which is why the streets are so narrow and things like that. And it's really something when you think about it, you know, out in the countryside of England being so different than what we would consider being out here in the countryside in the United States. I mean, it's almost like going back to the Victorian era where, like, mom and pop shops suffer here in the United States. Like here in Maui, mom and pop shops are definitely suffering as the big guys like Target and Walmart take over. in England, in these villages, these shops that have been in families for generations are still in the family, you know? And they're still going, and they're still thriving. It's still pretty important. You know, this makes a really good argument for getting that mod, Pet Shrinks the Mirrors, done by next week. But it really makes an argument for that. Sorry, I got myself confused. But it's just really amazing to me is all. You know what I'm saying? When I just go back and I think about it, that's not to say I know everything that's going on. It's only from things I've seen and read and heard about and whatnot. I mean, things could change and some of them could be suffering, but I really just feel like a lot of them aren't. You know, even back not too long ago with Susan Boyle when she was on a television show. There was X Factor, I think it was. You know, she talked about being from a collection of villages. And you could, you know, she was very country in terms of England and all that. But that's a little closer than I wanted it to be. So it, you know, it really was impressive. You know, really impressive, and it's still impressive to this day as I see it. And then even more so from like England, I love British cars. I really, truly love British cars. There's no arguing it with me. I'm not saying... Oh, well, yeah, there went that sign. Sorry. But we're almost to where I can get back in the truck. But, you know, Jaguar, Aston Martin, I think they're very beautiful cars. A lot of people nowadays, you know, they look at Jaguar and they think, Jaguar? What a joke. You see, the thing is that a lot of the American Jaguars that have come over, you know, when they sold Jaguars over here, we didn't get the good stuff. We got some of the first ones and the early ones, and they really weren't that great. There's a lot of Jaguars out there from like Europe and whatnot that are really, really good. You know what I'm saying? I honestly think we can hop... Oh. Surprised I didn't get fined for that. But I don't think you can get fined for not using your wipers. I'm just curious. If I get rid of that, does it help? No. No, it doesn't. There were a lot of good Jaguars out there, and I remember I used to think very little of Aston Martin due to a video game. One, you know, started out the original Gran Turismo. And the Aston Martin and the British cars, they weren't very good in the game. You know, I remember the best full-speed car in the game, like when you were doing like fully tuned cars and whatnot, was the was the Mitsubishi Eclipse. I'm pretty sure it was the Mitsubishi Eclipse. Okay, we're talking like almost 1,000 horsepower when you fully tricked out that car. It was twin turbo, so when you put turbo in it, you got huge amounts of horsepower. And I tweaked and I worked and I played with the transmission settings and everything. And they said it was the most realistic simulator at the time, and probably at the time that it was, but I don't know how realistic this was. I got that Eclipse, so it went from 0 to 250 miles an hour. Actually, I think I got it to around 254. 254 miles an hour in, well, in the time that most cars went from 0 to 60 in the game. You know, and I won off sheer, I won any race that I could put that in off sheer horsepower and the fact, haha, I saw you in time. And, you know, off the sheer fact that it had four-wheel drive. And in the first Gran Turismo, man, if you had four-wheel drive, you couldn't spin out. There was just no spinning out at all. Four-wheel drive. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. I mean, I could literally in that game, have the car so, like, I was nearly pointed ass backwards going up the track. I mean, I would spin like 230 degrees. Yes, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding at all. I would be pointed with my tail down the track in the direction I'm supposed to be going in. Slowed down a little too much, but it's alright. And I could still pull the front end back around and go forward again. I mean, it was almost impossible. Like I said, it was pretty much impossible to spin out with four-wheel drive in the original Gran Turismo. And so there was no way that car was realistic in any way, shape, or form. I mean, even today, one of the most powerful street-legal cars, as far as I know, and I've seen it on Jay Leno's Garage, and I saw it on Top Gear. I love watching the British version of Top Gear. Not sure where I'm supposed to turn down. I suppose here? If I fit? Oh, cool trailer. I know I'm not fully lined up, but whatever. Hey, nice and sunny. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. God, I always wipers off. Let's get that fixed. But you know, one of the fastest, most powerful street cars ever produced is the Bugatti Veyron. 1,000 horsepower, four massive turbochargers, four fuel pumps, lest the damn thing, you know, never make it. Oh no, I'm supposed to go this way. Wait a minute. What the hell? Did I just not see this right? Oh, okay, I get it. I know how this is supposed to work. I've run into this before, I forgot. It's right here, the road you're supposed to go down. I haven't been doing very good driving-wise today, have I? Let's see if we can neaten that up a little bit. In England. But the Bugatti had a 100-liter tank. A 100-liter tank. If ran wide open, foot to the floor, full throttle, it would consume all 100 liters in 12 minutes. Granted, at that speed, with that car, in 12 minutes, you would achieve orbit, probably. And my nose, I gotta sneeze, I think, but it doesn't want to, like, come out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wait. Right. This is Britain. We actually gotta cross over. See what I'm saying? Just a minute. Alright, that's a little bit better. But yeah. No, this is actually a long trip. I'm glad. But yeah, we're talking just insane amounts of fuel consumption, power, and all the things that you could do, and actually I said one of the most powerful production cars, and that's wrong. That's completely wrong. It was just one of the most powerful produced road cars. It wasn't actually meant to be a production car. I think they made it as a one-off. And that was it, Because even though, like, it costs like $5 million to produce. It's just really insane. So I think it had to be restrained to a top speed of 252 miles per hour. Because if it was allowed to go faster, it would probably just disintegrate. But it was just one of the most amazing cars I'd ever seen, and I got to see it on Jay Leno's Garage and on Top Gear. And, there's not much else I can say about it. It was like when I was younger, even now, when I was younger, if I could have owned a Bugatti Veyron, I would have, and driven it. In today's world, if I could own a Bugatti Veyron, I would, and I'd probably never touch it. I'd put it on a pedestal somewhere and say, yep, I own that, and never actually drive it. I think I'd be too scared. But, I love watching, a lot of things I'm learning about cars now. I've always kind of really loved the look of British cars and European cars in general. British cars in particular, but European cars. I love big luxury cars. I'm much like my father when it comes to that. And it came from my father. Originally, my father first had a 1970-ish Cadillac. Had, the big fins on the back. I forget exactly what year it was. And it was just a big, huge Cadillac, comfortable ride, big motor. It was fast, but it would drink a lot of fuel if you tried to go fast. I mean, it was fast for the size of car it was. Let me clarify that a little bit. It was fast for the size that it was. But just comfortable, smooth ride, plenty of room, big car, a trunk so big that you could fit a family of 4 in the back. all kinds of stuff. Truly amazing. Um, but I get myself lost so many times, man. I tell you, I don't know what to think about it sometimes. But after that, my father went and he got a Buick. It was a 1969, 1970 Buick Electra 225 convertible. And again, same thing. Huge car. Big motor. 455.4 cubic inch, 4-barrel carburetor motor. This huge monster of a motor. Long car. Beautiful design. And, I loved it just as much as a Cadillac, and I kind of grew into the love and fondness for it, to the point that even at one time I owned a Cadillac. I owned a 1980, I think it was 80 something Cadillac Eldorado. It might have been an Eldorado, but it was a coupe, or coupe as they would actually say in Europe. And it had the largest line production engine ever made in any car. A 500 cubic inch engine, big 4-barrel carburetor. I mean, it was so huge. I had to climb up onto the engine in order to reach the air filter. That's just how big it was. I had to climb up onto the engine to reach the air filter. Me and two of my friends could sit in the front and still have room for more people. It was an amazingly huge, monstrous car. The only thing that was wrong with it is whoever owned it before me had installed on their own a sunroof, which really didn't belong in the car. So that was the only flaw in it. But it was a big, beautiful car, solid frame under it. Just some of the body panels were rusted out, and I had gotten them replaced. The engine needed nothing. The engine was perfect. Just start up, no problem. Run, no problem. Quiet as the day it was built. And the ride was unbelievable. And I loved that Cadillac for the entire time that I had it. It was white with a blue interior. And I never really got around to doing the interior, so the interior was a little worn. I had worked on the exterior first. And then I was going to do the interior, but I never actually got the chance to do that. So, what else can I say? But yeah, that's for my love for big cars. So today's, when watching things like Top Gear, as much as I love the fast cars and the cars with a lot of power and the cars that are speedy, I still tend to favor the cars like the Bentleys, the Rolls Royces, the luxury cars. The cars that have like really deep shag carpets that you can put your feet on barefoot. You prefer to drive barefoot when you drive them. Just cars that were made to cover huge tracts of land in a single bound, and that you were comfortable and relaxed and calm the entire way that you drove. Cars that were so big and so comfortable, you could get in the back seat and have a nap and wake up completely refreshed and not uncomfortable or cramped or sore or anything for that matter. You just woke up feeling really good, And those are the kind of cars I like. You can go fast. You can get there first. You can be speedy and powerful, but I'd rather arrive in comfort and class. Well, that's kind of a little wrong in terms of what I said, because supercars have class. They really do. But just something about like a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or Cadillac's not quite the same that used to be. Neither is Lincoln, but older Cadillacs, older Lincolns. No, I'm in the right spot actually. Older Cadillacs, older Lincolns, older cars like that. And before they went out, before they were, they stopped building them. To a lesser extent, kind of going down the list maybe a little bit. Cars like Mercedes. Mercedes can cover both. In a single car, they can have very fast, sporty, powerful, but also comfort and luxury. But then they can also go extreme comfort and luxury. Mercedes, BMWs, and as I was saying actually before, and this is what I meant before they started, took them off the market and stopped building them. Buicks and Oldsmobiles. Buicks and Oldsmobiles were like, to be honest, they were the poor man's Lincolns and Cadillacs. They were for the man that wanted more than your average four-door sedan or luxury coupe. This was a bad choice, but I think I've got the power to do it. Yeah, okay. Well, that was the loan. Whew, that scared me, actually. But, I'm sorry, I know I've sniffed on Mike a couple times. I actually try not to. But Buicks and Oldsmobiles were typically cars of quality. Even the cheaper ones. Like, before I had the Toyota Scion that I do now, I drove a 2004 Buick Century. Bought it used, and it had like 120,000 miles on it when I bought it. But, no, why am I going to do that? I'm pretty sure I've got enough momentum. I'd found out it had been a previous rental car. Dangerous territory there. But the only reason it started having problems is because I couldn't afford to truly take care of it, and I didn't take care of it the way I should have. And so it started having, issues and with like engine, small engine issues and body issues, tires and whatnot that needed to be done. And that never truly got done. And that's just the way it turned out. But I think we owned it for like 3 or 4 years. I had only paid $3,700 for it. So I paid $250 a year for that car. If I did 3 years, if it was 4 years, it was even less than that. That would be less than $1,000 a year. And it never let me down. The engine either leaked, I'm pretty sure, like, used a very minuscule amount of oil. I think I had to add oil to it once every 3 to 4 months, literally. I didn't get the oil changed nearly as much as I should have. just saying. But yeah, it never let me down. It always started, always drove, always got me to where I was going, always got me home, and it did it pretty comfortably, and it got really good gas mileage for a car that only had 3 speeds. Pretty sure it was only 3 gears. It might have been 4, but I'm pretty sure it was only 3 gears. But either way, man, it was actually a really good car. And I was a little sad to trade it in, but the chance to get a much newer car in the Scion, and the fact that the Scion's a Toyota. And, you know, Toyota is a name that's usually synonymous with quality in terms of durability in a car. You know. Uh-oh. That was really dumb. But we managed. I almost feel like saying, I'm sorry, is this the English countryside? Or where'd you come from? You weren't there. Wait till I can see more around this corner now. Now, see, you would think that, well, this is why there's a problem driving, you know, a British, you know, or driving a right-hand side vehicle is you can't see around the truck or the vehicle that you're following. Well, keep in mind that if this were truly a car made for, built in, and all that in Britain, the steering wheel would be over the other side, and I'd be able to see around him just fine. There we go. So I kind of lost what I was talking about, if I'm to be honest with you, at that point. I don't know. Oh yeah, I was talking about my Buick and all that. You know, I've owned a lot of poor cars, and I owned a lot of cars that treated me a lot better than I had treated them. Like, I owned a really old Toyota. It was like a 1982 Toyota Corolla. And I beat that thing. I literally tried to beat it to death. I tried. I did everything I could to kill it, and it wouldn't die. It never died. It always started up, always took me to where I had to go, and always got me home safe. It was an amazing little 5-speed car. And I forget what I think I might have sold it finally. But it was an amazing little car. You know, and I owned quite a variety of like Dodge Aspens and Velaris. The Slant 6 old ones, man, they were all beater box cars. The engine always ran, even when the body gave out, which the body gave out on several of my cars. I mean, I've owned a lot of beater boxes, older cars and whatnot, so driving the Scion is actually really nice. You know, it's to have a car that even still has less than 30,000 miles on it. Not much less. But I got it at 17,000 miles. It has 29,000 on it now. And I've had it... I say I just because I'm here, but it's actually me and my wife, honestly. We both pay for it. And she was the one that was able to facilitate getting it money-wise with a settlement. But my wife and I... We got it at 17,000 miles, and that was a year, and we either got it in August or September. So that's a year and 6 months or a year and 5 months. Somewhere around that. No, that's not quite right, is it? August, September, October, November. Okay, year and 4 or a year and 3. I knew I was putting on some extra months there. A year and 4 months or a year and 3 months. And in all that time, we've only put on 12,000 miles. In about close to a year and a half. So I'm honestly thinking in the next couple months, it'll be 30,000. So a year and 6 months, 30,000 miles from 17,000. That's what 10,000, 20. That's what 30. Yeah, 13,000 miles in 1 year and 6 months. Well, that's definitely coming in under the average of 1,000 miles or 10,000 miles a year. So it's not being hard driven. I just got to take a little bit better care of it. Despite the fact that I don't take it to the dealer to get the oil done because it's stupidly expensive. I did learn through the dealer that despite other places saying, the usual 3,000 miles or X amount of, 3 months, 3,000 miles, the Scion can actually go actually not can go, but is actually supposed to be done every 5 months to 5,000 miles, not 3 and 3. So I actually find that really cool. That my Scion can do that. So it's actually, I think I got a couple more months before I'm supposed to get the oil changed again. I need to get it inspected at the beginning of January. Plus, I need to get the driver's side front tire changed and have the back tires inspected. Not the driver's front. The passenger front tire change. The driver's been done already. Passenger side front tire change, and then the rear tires inspected. And then it'll be all good. I want to take, really good to, really, decent care of this car because it's probably the last one I'll ever own. I'm not very likely to be able to get another car in 5 years or 6 years. So I tried to make a really good choice, me and my wife, in getting a dependable car that met all the needs that we would have, and the Scion does. It's got plenty of space for put stuff in the back, put the seats down, go shopping. Can carry 5 people if needed. It doesn't get the gas mileage I was hoping for, especially out of a 4-cylinder, but it still gets good gas mileage. It's not a gas hog. Traffic jam. I don't know why I put the speed on. I knew he was still there. Something in my head said that he had taken off. And he really didn't. And when I realized he wasn't still in front of me, I kind of knew what was going to happen. So I just cost myself $400 more. And I'm actually looking about being in the hole after the loan at this point. At least for this run in particular, because this run's only 6,400 and the loan was over 8,000. But you also got to keep in mind that I've done 2, 3 runs prior to this, so I think I've covered the loan. Plus, our hired driver, is doing a little bit more. He's done a little bit more in terms of money and finding jobs. And yes, he's cost us some money, but he's done more in making money than he's lost. So I can't, I'm not going to be mad about that. So despite that $400 dollar deduction for being a complete and total moron, I think we're still okay. Especially after we make this delivery, we'll be almost back to where we were. We were hovering around 111, 112,000. This should put us up to around 110 minus whatever repairs after the collision. Can I really just slip up in here and not bang someone with a trailer. Now, keeping in mind, I actually have to go across the road. We're almost at a destination, too. Only 7 kilometers out. I know this has been a real rambling... I mean, I ramble in pretty much every video, but I mean, I've really been rambling and subject crossing back and forth over all kinds of things. Oh, God. One moment, please. And we're back. Apologize for that. There are reasons I don't turn my Skype off, and as many of you probably realize, that was a Skype call. Again, it's the only way I have to talk to my mother. My mother hasn't been feeling the best lately. She's been having a few health issues. So I constantly leave my Skype on and open for her to call me at any given point in time that I am on. So that's what that was. Nothing big. She just wanted to chat for a little bit. But not a huge deal. And I apologize for the interruption so close to the end of the video, but you know, when it comes to family versus recording video game, family comes first. And I'm not the type to want to go back and record the whole thing over again. You know, I'm more for more of a shoot from the hip kind of guy than I am pure on quality guy, which probably explains why my videos sometimes just are not that good. Going a little bit too fast there. Whew. I've never quite mastered the ability of going around those, if I'm to be really honest with you. I should be over here anyways. Looks like our spot is right here. Oh, this is going to be an easy back in as he turns and finds that there's absolutely no runway. Oh, plenty of runway. We're just going to take it from the side of the cans here. I think it'll be a little bit easier. No, no, not too far, not too far. Good enough. Oh, damn it. We still didn't level up. Grr. Alright, so we need a rest point. Preferably we need a garage. I can rest at the hotel if I need to. Oh, come on, guys. Let me out. 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 Thank you. I want to see if this is a dealership over here. No, looks like a recruitment agency. Oh, okay, there's a garage over there. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, no. You've gotta be kidding. What's behind me? Even worse. Well, this just turned into a new adventure, didn't it? Yeah, this looks about Englandish. I almost got away without it. Now the hard part. Let me just throw some money away. Alright. Just ignore the laws of physics there. I threw away, what, 4, 8, 16? I threw away a lot of money there. The reality is I could have just saved and exited, but it wouldn't have been as much fun. Anyways, we're still not in a bad financial position. We're really not. Okay. Alright, driver Charles. And he's leveled. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Income, $1. Oh, €1. Charles, whew. Making them bucks. Alright, so a couple things I want to do. First, I want a company manager, driver manager, Charles. He's working on balanced. Not 100% sure what balanced means, but I want him to get fragile. I want him to unlock a point in fragile. I'm going to have him unlock a point here, and I'm just going to have him focus on long distance. So that's what I want there. That's done. Now, what will we be taking next? As this has been a rather long video, but it's fine. We are here, and we get 3 trailers to choose from again. $10.61 bricks. Oops, stop that. That goes to Denmark, so that's going to be a long ferry trip. 470 kilometers on the ferry. Wood veneer, same route, and pork. 24 tons of pork going back to where, we'll take. This is only 11 cents less per mile, but it's 6,169. It's a little bit longer. I don't know. I may take the bricks, or I'm going to take just one of those. That's all. I'm just going to take one of these. I don't know which one. It's going to be one of those. But alright, folks, that's going to be me done for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed bringing you. And again, I apologize for the phone call in the middle, but family comes first for me. But until next time, As I said, this is going to be one big bug. I'm going to be signing out. I'll see you then.